2006 decided that negotiations to be held with the promoter, avec un unsolicited bid, Monsieur le Président. On the same day, a shareholders agreement, a coal supply agreement, and an interconnection facility design and build agreement were concluded on the same date. No EIA license had been obtained at the time these documents were signed, Monsieur le Président. Et il ose donner des leçons aujourd'hui en termes de protection de l'environnement, en termes de transparence. Monsieur le Président, je pense qu'il est très bien dans son rôle de is no good du post-travailliste, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, permettez-moi de faire le summing up aujourd'hui, Monsieur le Président, pour dire que la législation sur la gestion des déchets dans le monde a progressé au-delà de l'assainissement et de la protection de la santé de la population. L'accent est désormais mis sur la prévention et la récupération des ressources gaspillées. Dans le contexte local, l'actuel cadre juridique fragmenté n'aborde que l'aspect sanitaire et n'impose pas aux différentes parties prenantes l'obligation de stocker et de collecter les différents matériaux précieux présents dans le flux de déchets. Il n'y avait pas de disposition claire dans les différents textes législatifs qui favoriseraient le détournement des déchets, des stations de transfert et du site d'élimination. Les différentes dispositions de cette nouvelle législation et les règlements à venir nous permettront de mettre en place un système qui conduira à un détournement substantiel des déchets vers le compostage et le recyclage. Cela préservera l'espace d'enfouissement, générera des revenus, créera des emplois verts et réduira aussi les émissions de gaz à effet de serre. L'utilisation des ressources de manière intelligente est une logique économique, Monsieur le Président. La flambée des prix des matières premières, des produits de base et du fret à laquelle nous assistons doit nous inciter à repenser nos habitudes de production et de consommation. Il est donc très important de conserver les matériaux le plus longtemps possible dans l'économie et de mettre fin à la culture de l'utilisation et de l'élimination. La transition vers l'économie circulaire n'est pas un luxe, c'est une nécessité, Monsieur le Président. Les matières recyclables, séparées par les producteurs, ont tendance à être de meilleure qualité par rapport à la collecte des déchets mixtes et au tri ultérieur. Monsieur le Président, cette législation nous permettra de proposer une réglementation pour la collecte séparée des déchets organiques, des déchets recyclables et des résidus. Les autorités locales pourront jouer leur rôle dans la transition vers une économie circulaire grâce à ce cadre législatif ambitieux, complet et juridiquement contraignant. Nous sommes conscients que la collecte séparée à domicile ou dans une entreprise nécessitera des efforts diligents de la part des producteurs et aussi des consommateurs, Monsieur le Président. Et là, à cet effet, des campagnes de communication et des programmes de sensibilisation seront menés afin de promouvoir un changement de comportement à tous les niveaux. Je note avec beaucoup de satisfaction que la plupart de ceux qui sont intervenus sur le projet de loi ont convenu que le statu quo dans la gestion des déchets solides et dangereux n'est pas une option. Je voudrais souligner ici que certains membres de l'opposition ont également présenté des points positifs sur les mérites de cette législation et des contributions pertinentes en accord avec ce que nous, au gouvernement, voulons réaliser pour la promulgation de ce projet de loi, Monsieur le Président. Nous sommes tous conscients que le modèle prendre, fabriquer et jeter a atteint ses limites et il est temps de passer à un autre modèle plus durable. Ce projet de loi nous permettra de le faire. Je voudrais maintenant clarifier certains points qui ont été soulevés au cours des débats, Monsieur le Président. Les membres se souviendront qu'en deuxième lecture, j'ai informé qu'un consultancy services financé par l'Agence française de développement avait été entrepris pour préparer un Solid Waste Strategy and Action Plan, comprenant un examen de base et une analyse des options stratégiques. Une étude de faisabilité d'usines de compostage et d'unités de tri régionales a ensuite été préparée. De larges consultations ont été menées avec toutes les parties prenantes concernées. Les avis ont été recueillis et pris en compte tout au long du processus, Monsieur le Président. Il ne s'agit pas d'un exercice de copier-coller. Dès réception de l'étude de faisabilité, mon ministère a lancé un appel d'offres pour la mise en place et l'exploitation de 2 installations intégrées de traitement des déchets sur une Build, Own and Operate basis, pour 2 régions dans un premier temps. Les exigences de l'appel d'offres en termes de taille des installations prouvent clairement que le gouvernement a l'intention de fournir de grandes installations de gestion des déchets qui détourneront une part importante des déchets générés par les décharges. La proportion de déchets qui seront valorisés seront bien sûr supérieures aux 10% qui ont été mentionnés par le député Adil Amir dans son intervention. L'exercice de procurement a été fait de manière transparente et la question de l'attribution de contrats juteux ne se pose même pas, Monsieur le Président. Nous sommes tous d'accord pour dire que nous devons recycler et composter davantage, ce qui ne peut se faire sans infrastructures supplémentaires qui doivent également être exploitées. Cependant, le détournement de l'enfouissement se traduira par des coûts de transport et d'élimination évités, qui à moyen et à long terme apporteront des économies substantielles au gouvernement. Monsieur le Président, comme je l'ai souligné dans mon discours lors du second reading, compte tenu des contraintes liées à l'acquisition de l'espace pour garantir l'enfouissement, l'incinération des déchets pourrait être l'option à envisager à long terme, comme le recommande l'étude de l'Agence française de développement. Cependant, la mise en œuvre de toute installation d'incinération des déchets pour la production d'énergie représente un gros investissement. Il existe un certain nombre de cas où des usines de valorisation énergétique des déchets à grande échelle ont dû fermer pour des raisons financières, techniques et sociales. Monsieur le Président, il convient aussi de rappeler que notre cas également, ici, à Maurice, il y a eu quelques tentatives dans un passé récent, mais ces tentatives ont dû être abandonnées par faute de soumissions qui ont été concluantes. Monsieur le Président, nous avons déjà circulé les amendements qui seront proposés au committee stage et il est vrai de dire que nous avons, dans la disposition concernant la définition de disposal, nous avons prévu les cas d'incinération. Et je vais expliquer cela, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, la nécessité d'une étude de faisabilité a également été soulignée par le docteur Fuentes, expert en énergie renouvelable de Maxwell Stein plc, consultant pour le ministère de l'Énergie et des Services publics. Le docteur Fuentes a souligné que Maurice doit d'abord réaliser une étude de faisabilité pour évaluer la perspective d'une usine de waste-to-energy dans le contexte local, avant de décider de la capacité de l'usine. Une étude de faisabilité appropriée devra donc être réalisée préalablement à la mise en place d'une telle centrale, comme c'est le cas dans la plupart des pays qui ont mis en place de telles installations. La Commission européenne, en 2017, dans un document de consultation sur le rôle de la valorisation énergétique des déchets dans l'économie circulaire, indique clairement que les procédés de valorisation énergétique des déchets peuvent jouer un rôle dans la transition vers une économie circulaire, à condition que la hiérarchie des déchets de l'Union européenne soit utilisée comme principe directeur et que les choix effectués n'empêchent pas des niveaux plus élevés de prévention, de réutilisation et de recyclage. Dans son 20e rapport sur la production d'électricité à partir des déchets solides municipaux, le Standing Committee on Energy du Lok Sabha Secretariat New Delhi 2016, je cite, a noté que les déchets produits en Inde sont des déchets mixtes, comprenant une grande quantité de matériaux inertes et un niveau d'humidité très élevé, contrairement à d'autres pays. Le comité a donc recommandé ce qui suit. Les citoyens devraient d'abord être encouragés à garder des poubelles séparées pour les déchets humides, secs et dangereux. Deuxième recommandation, la séparation des déchets devrait être rendue obligatoire dans tous les bureaux gouvernementaux, les ménages, les établissements commerciaux. Le cas échéant, une sanction pourrait être imposée en cas de non-respect de cette règle. Le Indian Task Force on Waste to Energy technologisera également recommandé que les déchets qui peuvent être recyclés soient recyclés pour fabriquer de nouveaux produits, ce qui permet d'économiser les ressources naturelles. Les déchets humides qui peuvent produire du biogaz ou du compost doivent être traités et les déchets qui ne sont pas recyclables mais qui ont un pouvoir calorifique élevé doivent être utilisés pour des projets de Waste to Energy Planning Commission of India 2014. Une telle étude devra prendre en considération principalement les quantités futures des déchets compte tenu des changements démographiques et socio-économiques, des valeurs calorifiques et, bien sûr, du taux d'humidité des déchets. Monsieur le Président, comparer la combustion de la bagasse avec l'incinération des déchets municipaux revient à comparer des oranges avec des pommes, Monsieur le Président. Les déchets solides municipaux sont un matériau hétérogène et ne peuvent être comparés à la bagasse qui est sèche par nature. Le pouvoir calorifique et le taux d'humidité de ces deux matériaux sont très différents. Les déchets solides municipaux non triés, générés au cours d'une année entière à Maurice, ont un pouvoir calorifique de 6 mégajoules par kilogramme et ne conviennent donc pas à l'incinération sans le tri à la source, pour s'assurer que les déchets combustibles sont fournis à une telle usine pour le rendre viable. La stratégie nationale de gestion des déchets solides et du plan d'action qui seront révisés tous les 5 ans ou tout autre moment déterminé comme est prescrit dans ce projet de loi pourrait bien sûr reprendre l'option de valorisation énergétique des déchets, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, l'expansion verticale n'est envisagée que pour éviter la construction d'une décharge supplémentaire. L'empreinte actuelle est utilisée de manière optimale afin de ne pas empiéter sur des terres supplémentaires, d'autant plus que le village de Marchicose a déjà été déplacé. L'implémentation d'infrastructures de gestion des déchets fait souvent l'objet du syndrome « not in my backyard », pas dans mon jardin. L'acceptation sociale de toute infrastructure de gestion des déchets est d'une importance capitale. Je souhaite attirer l'attention de la Chambre sur le fait qu'à long terme, si l'option de l'incinération est retenue, nous aurons toujours besoin d'une décharge pour l'élimination des déchets résiduels et des cendres générées. Monsieur le Président, je voudrais répondre aussi à l'affirmation selon laquelle l'économie circulaire ne vise qu'à créer des opportunités commerciales pour le secteur privé et à drainer des fonds publics en donnant quelques exemples de régions et de pays qui ont adopté l'économie circulaire et les avantages qui en découlent, Monsieur le Président. L'Union européenne a adopté un cadre juridique pour une économie circulaire à travers la Convention cadre de l'Union européenne. Selon la Commission, ce cadre simulera le recyclage et empêchera la perte de matériaux précieux, créera des emplois, de la croissance économique et de nouveaux modèles d'entreprise et réduira les émissions de gaz à effet de serre. La Commission a estimé que l'économie circulaire peut entraîner une économie de 600 milliards d'euros. Une étude danoise portant sur 5 secteurs a révélé qu'une transition plus poussée vers une économie circulaire d'ici 2035 pourrait débloquer une augmentation du PIB de 0,8 à 1,4%, créer 7 à 13 000 emplois et réduire l'empreinte carbone du pays jusqu'à 7% et diminuer de 5 à 50% la consommation de ressources vierges pour certains matériaux. Au-delà de l'Europe, Monsieur le Président, des études en Chine et en Inde ont montré qu'une économie circulaire peut générer des avantages substantiels, surtout dans les pays en développement. Une étude sur la Chine a révélé qu'une trajectoire d'économie circulaire pourrait permettre aux entreprises et aux ménages d'économiser environ 32 000 milliards de yuan chinois en 2030, ce qui équivaut à environ 14% du PIB chinois prévu cette année-ci. Cette année-là, pardon. Parmi les autres effets, citons une réduction des émissions de gaz à effet de serre d'environ 11% et une diminution des embouteillages de 36% d'ici 2030. En Inde, une étude a estimé qu'une économie circulaire pourrait apporter des bénéfices annuels de 624 milliards de dollars en 2050. Le rapport de la Banque mondiale intitulé « What a Waste 2.0 – A Global Snapshot to Solid Waste Management to 2050 » mentionne que les efforts visant à passer à une économie circulaire gagnent du terrain, en particulier en Europe. Monsieur le Président, je note aussi une certaine dissonance entre les membres de l'opposition. L'honorable Mia considérant l'économie circulaire comme un mot à la mode, alors que l'honorable David a déclaré qu'il s'attendait à un projet de loi sur l'économie circulaire, comme c'est le cas en France et en Irlande. Il était même d'avis que l'intégration et l'utilisation du terme « économie » dans son sens systémique ne devrait pas être réservée seulement au ministère des Finances. Je suis tout à fait d'accord, bien sûr, avec l'honorable David sur ce point. Et c'est pour cela que mon ministère s'est totalement investi dans cette démarche, Monsieur le Président. Nous travaillons actuellement sur une feuille de route pour l'économie circulaire, une étude commanditée par l'UNEP et financée par le programme Switch Africa Green. Cette étude examinera, entre autres, la faisabilité d'un cadre juridique pour l'économie circulaire. En attendant ce projet de loi, nous visons à soutenir l'économie circulaire grâce à une meilleure gestion des déchets. Je suis en effet reconnaissant à l'honorable Lobin qui a exprimé son soutien à la politique de mise en œuvre de ce projet de loi. Monsieur le Président, en ce qui concerne le commentaire sur la collecte déguisée des redevances, des taxes, permettez-moi de préciser, Monsieur le Président, que le pouvoir du ministre de prescrire une redevance en vertu de l'article 23 du Bill pour le Collection and Disposal of Household and Commercial Waste, cette provision, Monsieur le Président, existe déjà en vertu des articles 162 et 163 du Local Government Act. Cependant, aucune taxe n'a été prescrite jusqu'à présent, Monsieur le Président. La position adoptée par les membres de l'opposition sur cette clause particulière est purement de mauvaise foi et ne sert qu'à créer des doutes. Monsieur le Président, je souhaite quand même attirer l'attention de l'Assemblée sur la décision du Conseil des ministres du 14 avril 2023 relative à la promulgation des Local Government Exemption of Municipal Tax and on Family Home Regulations 2023 et des Local Government Amendment of Schedule Regulations 2023 concernant l'abolition de la taxe municipale sur les maisons familiales, Monsieur le Président. C'est cela la politique du gouvernement, Monsieur le Président. Ces règlements entreront en vigueur à partir du 1er juillet 2023. Cela démontre clairement que ce gouvernement n'a pas l'intention de proposer des taxes additionnelles pour les ménages, Monsieur le Président. Je tiens à rassurer l'Assemblée que la collecte des taxes n'est pas à l'ordre du jour de ce gouvernement. En ce qui concerne la clause 24.3 du projet de loi, qui prévoit que les autorités locales peuvent prescrire un paiement pour les bennes, celui-ci ne sera déterminé qu'après discussion avec les collectivités locales, en tenant compte, bien sûr, du type de benne à fournir et aussi du volume de déchets à collecter par ménage. Ce n'est que lorsqu'un ménage a produit un volume de déchets beaucoup plus élevé que la normale, environ 75 litres par semaine par exemple, qu'une redevance peut être appliquée à la demande du collègue. Comme cela se fait par les collectivités locales lorsqu'il y a des bulky waste à être collectés par les ménages et, bien sûr, il y a une charge additionnelle qui est perçue par les collectivités locales, Monsieur le Président. Donc, la section 163.2 du Local Government Act prévoit déjà que chaque autorité locale peut percevoir des droits et des redevances pour l'enlèvement de ces déchets volumineux. Cette disposition est intégrée à la législation sur la gestion des déchets et la récupération des ressources afin d'harmoniser les redevances qui pourraient être perçues à l'avenir. En outre, Cette mesure sera prise en étroite collaboration avec toutes les autorités locales. En ce qui concerne la fourniture et la distribution des poubelles, un mécanisme sera élaboré par le Comité national de coordination de la gestion des déchets qui sera mis en place en vertu de l'article 9 du projet de loi, Monsieur le Président. À cet égard, je tiens à préciser que les 3 premières poubelles qui seront fournies seront gratuites pour les ménages, afin de garantir que le tri des déchets soit effectué à partir de ce niveau. Cela permettra de s'assurer que les déchets triés sont envoyés aux installations de compostage et de recyclage pour que la sécularité de la gestion des déchets soit une réussite. L'acquisition des poubelles, Monsieur le Président, il va sans dire, seront effectuées conformément aux dispositions du Public Procurement Act par le biais d'appels d'offres compétitifs. Pas de unsolicited bid, comme nous avons vu dans le passé, Monsieur le Président. La mise en place d'un système moderne de tri, de collecte, de transport, de recyclage et d'élimination des déchets permettra de réduire au minimum le contact et la manipulation des déchets par les éboueurs. Les autorités locales devront réorganiser le service pour répondre aux attentes de la population et continuer à assurer le bien-être des éboueurs. Monsieur le Président, concernant les déchets électroniques, il est vrai que seul un très faible pourcentage de déchets électroniques générés est actuellement recyclé, 2% des 8 000 tonnes. La raison en est qu'il n'existe actuellement aucun système établi pour la collecte et le recyclage des déchets électroniques. La gestion des déchets électroniques et d'autres flux de déchets sera abordée dans le cadre d'un mécanisme de responsabilité élargie des producteurs, le REP, qui sera élaboré en étroite collaboration avec le secteur privé. Une étude menée par l'ONG américaine Recycling Partnership a révélé que la politique de REP, la responsabilité élargie des producteurs, a permis de collecter et de recycler plus de 75% du papier et des emballages en Colombie-Britannique, en Belgique, en Espagne, en Corée du Sud et aux Pays-Bas. L'article 46 du projet de loi prévoit donc la mise en place d'un système de responsabilité élargie des producteurs pour ces produits. Les règlements nécessaires seront bien sûr pris en conséquence. Monsieur le Président, en ce qui concerne les huiles usagées, je voudrais souligner que leur gestion est déjà réglementée sous l'Environment Protection, Collection, Storage, Treatment, Use and Disposal of Waste Oil Regulations 2006. Cette réglementation impose aux producteurs d'huiles usagées des obligations en matière de stockage et d'élimination des huiles usagées. L'équipe de mon ministère chargée de l'application de la réglementation procède à des inspections régulières pour s'assurer du respect de la réglementation. Deuxièmement, les transporteurs d'huile usagées doivent demander l'autorisation de mon ministère pour le transport des huiles usagées des producteurs vers les installations de recyclage réglementées par le Environment Protection Act. Actuellement, 2 opérateurs privés participent à la collecte et au recyclage des huiles de graissage usagées provenant des garages de l'île et une société est enregistrée pour la collecte et l'exportation d'huile de cuisson usagées. En 2021, environ 4,16 millions de litres d'huile de lubrification usagée des garages et des industries et d'huile de cale des navires ont été collectés et recyclés, tandis que 295 615 litres d'huile de cuisson usagée ont été collectés pour l'exportation. Toutes les réglementations relatives à la gestion des huiles usagées seront intégrées dans la législation sur la gestion des déchets et la récupération des ressources et seront révisées pour avoir une meilleure traçabilité des huiles usagées depuis leur production jusqu'à leur récupération, maximisant la collecte des huiles usagées et améliorant le processus de recyclage. Monsieur le Président, venons-en maintenant aux pneus usagés. Environ 4 500 tonnes de pneus usagés sont générées chaque année à Maurice, dont environ 10% sont mis en décharge chaque année en moyenne. Pour résoudre durablement ce problème, le gouvernement encourage le recyclage des pneus usagés en offrant une incitation financière de 2 000 roupies pour chaque tonne de caoutchouc recyclé localement ou exporté pour être recyclé. Dans le cadre de cette incitation budgétaire, la division de la gestion des déchets solides de mon ministère a lancé un appel d'offres afin de sélectionner un soumissionnaire pour la mise en place et l'exploitation d'une installation de recyclage, traitement de pneus usagés à Maurice sur une Build, Own, Operate basis de 10 ans. Une évaluation des propositions est en cours, Monsieur le Président. Pardon. Monsieur le Président, permettez-moi de commenter le sort de la division de la gestion des déchets solides, le Department of Solid Waste de mon ministère. La Chambre peut être assurée que la division continuera d'exister avec son propre budget et sera dirigée par un chef de cabinet, mais avec un nouveau département de la gestion des déchets et de la récupération des ressources, comme le prévoit le projet de loi. Le département, son directeur adjoint et ses fonctionnaires disposeront de pouvoirs accrus pour assumer toutes les responsabilités décrites dans ce projet de loi. On m'a informé que seul un restyling des postes serait nécessaire, c'est-à-dire que dans le titre, les mots « gestion des déchets solides » seront remplacés par « gestion des déchets et récupération des ressources ». Monsieur le Président, l'objectif ultime de ce projet de loi est de garantir une gestion écologiquement sûre et saine des déchets solides et des déchets dangereux, ainsi qu'un système durable de gestion des déchets par l'adoption d'une approche d'économie circulaire axée sur la réduction, la réutilisation, le traitement, l'élimination en toute sécurité, la récupération des matériaux et le recyclage des déchets. Je remercie tous mes collègues et les membres de l'opposition qui ont contribué à ce débat. Je voulais aussi saluer la contribution de mon collègue l'Attorney General et ses officiers pour leur aide précieuse dans la préparation de ce projet de loi. Je tiens aussi, bien sûr, à remercier le personnel de mon ministère qui a participé aux différentes étapes de l'élaboration de ce projet de loi. Monsieur le Président, avec ces mots, je souhaite recommander le projet de loi à l'Assemblée. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
The question is that the Waste Management and Resources Recovery Bill number 1 of 2023 be read a second time. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it.
Public Bills Committee stage.
Please be seated.
Clause 1 short title.
The question is that clause 1 is sent part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. Submit.
Clause 2 interpretation.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I move for an amendment to clause 2 as per amendment circulated.
The question is that clause 2 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. Ayes have it. The question that clause 2 as amended sent part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. Ayes have it.
Clause 3 application of Act. Clause 4 Department of Waste Management and Resource Recovery. Clause 5 Director. Clause 6 Staff of Department. Clause 7 Records. Clause 8 Powers of Minister.
Question that clause 3 to 8 stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. Ayes have it.
Clause 9 Coordination Committee.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move for an amendment to clause 9 as per amendment circulated.
The question is that clause 9 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Ayes have it. The question that clause 9 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Ayes have it.
Clause 10 Functions and Powers of Coordination Committee. Clause 11 Meetings of Coordination Committee. Clause 12 Technical Advisory Committee. Clause 13 Meetings of Technical Advisory Committee. Clause 14 Objectives and Principles of Integrated Waste Management and Circularity. Clause 15 End of Waste Status. Clause 16, National Solid Waste Management Strategy and Action Plan. Clause 17, Duties of local authorities relating to National Solid Waste Management Strategy and Action Plan. Clause 18, Duties of waste generators. Clause 19, Duties of institutions. Clause 20, Submission of data and information on waste. Clause 21, Public consultation. Clause 22, Interpretation. Clause 23, Collection of waste. Clause 24, Receptacles for household waste.
Question that clauses 10 to 24 stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no.
Clause 25, Management of waste by local authority.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move for an amendment to clause 25 as per amendments circulated.
Question is that clause 25 stand part be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The question that clause 25 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it.
Clause 26, Removal of waste. Clause 27, Interpretation of Part 7. Clause 28, Declaration of hazardous waste. Clause 29, Control and Management of hazardous waste. Clause 30, Recovery of expenses. Clause 31, Hazardous waste generated by households. Clause 32, Hazardous waste management strategy and action plan. Clause 33, Licensing and registration. Clause 34, Request for information. Clause 35, Search and seizure. Clause 36, Right of entry. Clause 37, Obstruction of authorized officer. Clause 38, Program approval. Clause 39, Enforcement notice. Clause 40, Prohibition notice. Clause 41, Stop order. Clause 42, Offences. Clause 43, Prosecution and jurisdiction. Clause 44, Fixed penalties. Clause 45, Interference with waste.
The question that clauses 26 to 45 stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
I move for an amendment to clause 46 as per amendment circulated.
The question that clause 46 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The question that clause 46 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 47, Duty of care. Clause 48, Prevention of pollution or harm. Clause 49, Confidentiality. Clause 50, Regulations. Clause 51, Protection from liability. Clause 52, Consequential amendments. Clause 53, Revocation. Clause 54, Saving and transitional provision. Clause 55, Commencement.
The question that clauses 47 to 55 stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
The first schedule.
Question that the first schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
The second schedule.
The question is that the second schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
The title and enacting clause.
The question is that the title and enacting clause stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that I do report to the House that the Waste Management and Resource Recovery Bill number 1 of 2023 has passed a committee stage with amendments. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it. Please be seated. Remember, I have to report to the House that the Waste Management and Resource Recovery Bill number 1 of 2023 has passed a committee stage with amendments.
Public bills, third reading.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the Waste Management and Resource Recovery Bill number 1 of 2023 be read a third time and passed.
Seconded. Question is that the Waste Management and Resources Recovery Bill of number 1 2023 be read the third time and passed. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Public bills, second reading.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency Bill number 3 of 2023 be read a second time. Monsieur le Président, face aux enjeux de la mondialisation, aucun pays ne peut en résister en marge des innovations technologiques. La digitalisation des services publics est aujourd'hui plus qu'une nécessité. C'est une préoccupation majeure pour le gouvernement face aux attentes de nos citoyens. Et l'importance capitale pour réussir ce processus de développement s'associe à la préparation de cette nouvelle ère numérique dans laquelle s'est engagé notre pays depuis ces dernières années. Grâce à la vision du Premier ministre de créer une île Maurice intelligente et connectée. Monsieur le Président, dans cette course vers le futur, nous présentons aujourd'hui devant cette auguste Assemblée un projet de loi qui vient combler les lacunes existantes au National Computer Board Act qui date de 1988. Aujourd'hui, après plus de 35 ans d'existence, il est impératif de renouveler la réflexion autour des objectifs du NCB et d'instituer des nouvelles fonctions au NCB afin de mener cette institution à atteindre de nouveaux horizons. Ainsi, la restructuration du NCB en tant que Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency est en ligne avec la stratégie du gouvernement et notre programme gouvernemental. Nous ne sommes point des technoprophètes, Monsieur le Président. En revanche, notre but est non seulement d'anticiper les besoins digitaux de nos citoyens en améliorant la manière dont le gouvernement offre ses services en utilisant les outils numériques, mais aussi de nous assurer que nos citoyens soient dotés d'aptitudes qui leur permettent d'adopter ces services. Et comme l'a dit l'inventeur américain Charles Kettering, je cite, « Je m'intéresse à l'avenir parce que c'est là que je vais passer le reste de ma vie. » Fin de citation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill which is before the House today represents a crucial step in government's collective efforts to promote and boost digitalization in Mauritius, and to ensure that our country remains competitive in the global digital landscape. I stand before you today as the Minister of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister with a message that holds a vision which will empower generations to come. We are in the middle of a technological revolution that is transforming every aspect of our lives at an unimaginable pace. Today, over 4 billion people across the globe are online, and the digital economy is no longer a luxury or an option. It is a fundamental requirement for any country that seeks to remain competitive and prosper in a global economy. The digital age has already transformed the way we live, work, and interact with one another. It has the potential to reduce poverty, improve our education system and healthcare capabilities, and also promote gender equality, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, in Mauritius, the ICT sector has contributed significantly to the country's GDP. And according to the Economic Development Board, EDB, it has accounted for approximately 6.9% of Mauritius' GDP in 2021. This demonstrates the enormous potential of the ICT sector to drive economic growth, but also job creation in the country. The sector employs over 32,000 persons, and this number is expected to grow in the coming years as this government continues to actively promote digitalization and innovation. This government is in fact leveraging the power of IT in new and innovative ways. We have implemented digital platforms to improve services and lives of the citizens, thereby allowing them to access government services from the comfort of their homes. We have accelerated the shift toward the digitalization, and no less than 140 public services are online today. Citizens are encouraged to make use of these services through the different marketing campaigns launched by my ministry on different media and social platforms. Many of you have probably come across our printed and digital campaigns on the MoPass, on Mo Rendezvous, or even on MoCloud. And let me hear Mr. Speaker sir, say a few words on MoCloud. One of the examples is today somebody, a citizen, can download their birth certificate online. And what is the reality? And we have to say it as it is. There's no shame in saying it. Today, if somebody, a citizen, wants to have a copy of their birth certificate, and what is the process they go? First of all, they go to the civil status office. They queue up, arriving their turn, the officer prints a copy, and then he realizes a stamp of 25 rupees is missing. The same citizen leave everything there, go back to a post office, queue up again, buys a stamp for 25 rupees. And if he's lucky, he has a change. Else he has to go and buy a Coke, and buy a chocolate to get change to buy a stamp. And come back again to the civil status office to be able to get a valid birth certificate, which is valid for 3 months. Today, in a matter of seconds, Mr. Speaker, sir, on the MoCloud platform, a citizen can download their birth certificate and marriage certificate. Over 11,000 citizens in this country have already made use of such facilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, the path to success is not only to provide access through proper ICT infrastructure and ensure implementation of technology, but also a digitally agile culture must be nurtured to deliver the innovation we want to see. Our society is undergoing numerous technological changes, and in this digital era, with innovation, the rapid expansion of the artificial intelligence, for example, robotics industry, and the advent of metaverse, we cannot rest on our laurels. It is against this backdrop that we are proposing today the revamping of the National Computer Board into the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency. This agency will be called upon to play an important role in promoting digital literacy among our citizens, driving the adoption of digital technologies among businesses, and fostering innovation in the tech sector. The ultimate objective is to build a world-class digital economy in Mauritius that benefits all our citizens, as neither do we want to or no, we can afford to lag behind in this race. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the time NCB was set up and its act voted back in 1988, IT was at its infancy. Internet was not even known to people. Mobile phones did not even exist in the country. And today, our ICT sector is set to become one of the main pillars of our economy. The country today is fully connected and fibered. We have launched 5G services, connectivity for mobile phones. We have a mobile penetration of 157%. We have more mobile phones than people in this country. The statistics speak for themselves, Mr. Speaker. So we can see the gap, 1988, 2003. The NCB has also played a fundamental role in promoting and developing the ICT sector by empowering the public and private sectors. The objectives set under the NCB have ensured that the nation is properly equipped with the necessary ICT infrastructure, strategies and policies, and a growing tool of ICT literate citizens. Important projects and responsibilities were entrusted to the organization, the focus of which was to empower the citizens, the businesses, and the public sector. With an influx of projects, professionals in IT have been recruited to support the smooth running of the organization. The number of employees as at January 2023 stood at 86 compared to 55 back in January 2010. It is without a doubt, Mr. Speaker, sir, that due to the various initiatives taken by the NCB over the years, digital literacy has increased from 51.3% in 2010 and to around 60% in 2001, according to Statistics Mauritius. And this percentage will continue to grow. But the question is, Mr. Speaker, sir, is it enough? The NCB Act did not, however, make provisions for the exponential growth in the ICT sector worldwide as compared to incremental growth for other sectors. In fact, although digital transformation has made inroads faster, the functions attributed to the NCB have remained unchanged over 3 decades, and thus the need to review its role and responsibilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House will recall that in the budget speech 2020-2021, it was announced that with a view to accelerate digital transformation, the NCB, amongst other organizations falling within the purview of my ministry, would be restructured. The objective would be to strengthen and empower the institution, to reorient its services and expertise towards building, innovating capabilities. It is in this context that in July 2021, a consultant was appointed to advise on the restructuring of the organization by proposing the future direction of the NCB with a revised mandate, as well as a new vision, mission, and strategic objectives aligned with government's medium and long-term plan for the country's economic development. The consultant, after a thorough analysis of the current state of the organization, but also based on comparative exercise in the ICT sector in countries such as Singapore, Estonia, India, and Rwanda, came up with a series of recommendations for a new organizational structure with revised strategic goals and objectives. The consultant also took into consideration the fact that NCB has a wide experience and expertise in delivering and managing ICT training and awareness projects, outreach and cooperation across institutions, including citizens and businesses. The recommendations included the need to repeal the National Computer Board Act of 1988 and to come up with a new bill to provide for a revamped organization, subsequently named, as I mentioned, the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency, which would take over the functions of the NCB with a new vision, that is, to create a digitally inclusive knowledge-based society through the next generation technology, and a new mission statement to lead Mauritius towards a world-class digital economy by fostering the required skills and making technology widely accessible to all. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to go through the salient clauses in the bill. In view of the evolving needs and fast-moving pace of the ICT BPO sector, the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency is expected to respond effectively to new national aspiration to cater for the multifaceted challenges emerging in the wake of globalization, threatening the very resilience of the country's economy. The organization will hence be called upon to spearhead the development of the ICT industry in Mauritius through innovation to increase its global competitiveness. It will also play a prominent role in the development of the ICT industry by advising government of Mauritius on policies to harness emerging technologies, implementing innovative projects related to boosting ICT export, technopreneurship, democratizing access to ICT, and promoting digital culture and citizens' empowerment. Clause 4 of the bill thus provides for the agency to have as main objects to A, boost growth of the ICT sector through skills development and innovation, B, achieve basic ICT proficiency among all population groups, and C, advise the Minister on the formulation of national policies in respect of promotion, development of ICT, and its application. Mr. Speaker, sir, to enable the MDPA to achieve its objective, provision is made under Clause 5 of the bill for the agency to perform its function. The agency will be the body responsible for promotion of digital literacy among the population at large, so as to inculcate the notion of digital citizenship nationwide, which relates to the ability to navigate into digital environments in a safe and secure manner. It will also be responsible for the national upskilling program in ICT and to conduct awareness campaigns so as to attract talent into the sector. The institution will act as facilitator for setting up of ICT startups and developing programs for ICT skills development and promoting digital entrepreneurship for the SMEs' business continuity. For producing smarter output and results and to avoid duplication in institutional functions, the MDPA will work together with other organizations of my ministry, namely the Mauritius Emerging Technologies Council and the Mauritius Research and Innovation Council, and also with other government departments and the private sector and NGOs. I must also highlight that since August 2021, Mauritius has entered the league of the few countries where the government has its own certificate authority, which we call the CA. The CA has the responsibility of issuing digital certificates to facilitate verification of identities between users in an electronic transaction, including the use of electronic signatures for individuals and businesses. The service known as MoSign is currently being managed by the NCB, which has been licensed under the Information and Communication Technologies Act to operate as the certificate authority. This important function will be taken over by the MDPA. Another important function of the MDPA would be the promotion of the use of open data at national level. And let me be clear about this open data, Mr. Speaker, sir. Open data as defined in the bill refers to data held by government and or the private sector which is not confidential and can be freely used or distributed. The NCB since April 2018 has been hosting the Open Data Mauritius portal, which currently provides for some 430 data sets related to various topics or sectors of our economy. And those data are available for businesses, for companies, for government to use to be able to plan and to be able to forecast any projects or any potential businesses for the country. In today's world, Mr. Speaker, sir, data is the new oil. These data sets have the potential of unleashing new business opportunities for SMEs, for private sector, by empowering innovation in all sectors of the economy, with the creation of new products and services. This function will also be taken over by the MDPA. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order for the agency to attain its objective, it is imperative that people who are responsible for its management have extensive knowledge and experience in the field of ICT and digital literacy, among others. Provision is therefore made at clause 7 of the bill for the membership of the board of the agency to comprise representative of relevant sectors, including the private sector, having knowledge and experience in the field of ICT, emerging technologies, and education. So you can imagine, Mr. Speaker, so with a new board, with people from government, from private sector, or appointed by the minister, the new board will be people with proper experience in the sector, in emerging technologies, and in education. And thus, they will be in a better position to guide the institution and bring it to new heights. And this will ensure that there are continued linkages between the organization and the ICT industry, because we've catered for the private sector also to be part of the board. Clause 11, Mr. Speaker, sir, refers to the appointment of staff of the agency by the board on terms and conditions as may be approved by the minister. And here, with regards to recent press articles published concerning the restructuration, which I believe are of bad faith and which have attempted to distort public opinion on my ministry's agenda. And I wish to inform the House that I have personally met with the NCB Employees Union to dissipate any confusion in the minds of the existing employees. I have given assurance to the union that none of the staff members will be less favorable or penalized in the transition from NCB to the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency. And I'm glad to share that the NCB Employees Union has expressed its satisfaction and extended its full support to the management, to my ministry and to government in this transition. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, sir, to table a letter dated 12 April 2023, addressed to me by the Employees and National Computer Board Employees Union. And what do they say, Mr. Speaker, sir? The NCB-EU is satisfied and agreeable with the insight provided by the ministry and provide its full support to the minister and the ministry in this upcoming transition phase. I would like to table the document, Mr. Speaker, sir, because there has been a lot of articles in the press saying that all type of gossip, saying that staff would have to get permission from the minister to be able to be appointed. The minister will put political appointees, and so on and so forth. All these are gossip and palab, and we have a mandate. These are official documents, not pictures or photos, official documents signed by the union expressing the satisfaction and support to the ministry in this regards. So once again, Mr. Speaker, I wish to reiterate that the transition from the NCB to the MDPA is being carefully planned. My ministry will be taking all necessary steps cautiously to ensure that everyone is included and no prejudice is caused to any of the existing employees. Monsieur le Président, l'honorable Premier ministre a pour vision de bâtir une nation intelligente. Et les premières pierres sont déjà posées. C'est sur cette fondation solide que nous construisons désormais l'avenir pour les générations à venir. La refonte et la restructuration de nos organisations changeront la donne sur la façon dont nous voulons opérer dans cette quête, c'est-à-dire créer une île Maurice plus intelligente pour nos citoyens et renforcer notre économie. Mr. Speaker, sir, we may have innovative digital solutions in place, but they are useless without broad take-up by all segments of the population. At a higher level, the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency will give a boost to the development and application of ICT in the evolving technology world to deliver better citizen experience. Mr. Speaker, sir, on this side of the House, we walk the talk. We practice what we preach. And this government, under the able leadership of our Prime Minister, is moving forward and fast in this new digital era. With these words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I commend the bill to the House. Thank you very much.
Who is seconding? Now, Honorable Bulel, I think you have the turn. You have for 20 minutes?
25 minutes.
Little more. Just to welcome you.
I have listened intently to the speech delivered by the Honorable Minister. The bill is non-controversial, and it cut across both opposition and government benches. But however, there are legitimate questions which deserve to be asked and answers to be given. To some extent, the Minister has reassured members of the NCB, National Computer Board, that the rights will be safeguarded. Of course, it's not a favor which is being dispensed. As of rights, when you look at Section 26, these rights have to be safeguarded. Now, giving firm assurances certainly convey right signals, but implementing and creating the enabling confidence is of paramount importance. They have to feel that there is no threat, no Damocles sword hanging over the head. Otherwise, if confidence is eroded, it is the whole fabric that may collapse. We wish the agency well, but I expected the minister also to tell us whether the Digital Promotion Agency is the Digital Promotion Agency bill the pathway, appropriate pathway in restructuring the NCB or the IT for the future. He didn't mention the name, but I take it for granted that when he referred to the consultant, I take it for granted that he was referring to the report submitted by Director Sharma of Pricewaterhouse. Am I right? Is this the report that you're referring? On the 15th October, on the future of the National Computer Board. Now, I hope the bill does justice to the findings of this report. The minister has given firm assurances that the best candidate would be selected for the post of executive director of the whole, and he stated very clearly in succinct terms that there would be no political interference, that it would be left to the board to make the appropriate choice. And this is very relevant and important, otherwise the wrong signals would be conveyed. Now, past experiences, unfortunately, tell us a different story. When, if I have to refer to the existing chairman of the National Computer Board, who after all is a political agent. And the minister has also told us the reason as to why. Since almost 2 years, over the last 2 years, the NCB has had no executive director. Either the climate is hostile, or the person whose services were enlisted did not deliver, or probably the person felt discriminated upon. I think this is very relevant. Otherwise, this climate of uncertainty, if it prevails, certainly can jack up the whole process. Now, if we get our act right, the sky and its clouds are the limit, because I tend to agree, and this is, there's unanimity in the House, in the country, that our object is to turn Mauritius in a gateway, to turn Mauritius a gateway in cross-border initiative. Now, the IT sector, the minister has rightly pointed out, feature prominently amongst the services. And in fact, it's snapping at the heels of the tourism, financial, and is a sector whose growth is exponential. The minister knows that computing power doubles every 2 years, and the best brains, therefore, are required to consolidate the sector. He's right to remind us that our IT sector emerged in 1988. Things have changed, and things are moving at an incredible speed. And now, this sector, the third most important pillar of our economy. I heard the minister saying that our country is well carpeted with good fiber optic internet network, not only to work with fiber to home, but to convey and retrieve information at the speed of light. What he said has to be relevant. He stated very clearly that the country is well carpeted with good fiber optic internet network. And I hope this is true, because the information that I have been given is not totally different, but as I say, there's room for improvement. Now, in relation to the information, and information is data, and today he or she who has the data has power. But there is a call for open data, and open data is not relevant if there is no freedom of information. The Minister stated that under Section 5.1, the described function is to promote and encourage the use of open data at national level. Now, having said so, this section already fails the proposed object, as the publication of open data requires a freedom of information legal framework. Despite what you say, that the information is available, one has to retrieve it without any hiccup, one can relay the information, but be careful. I have stated we have to err on the principle of caution and make sure that the freedom of information legal network is ushered in. And I would advise the Honourable Minister to refer to the open data portal of the UK government. We have to think globally and act locally, but we have to act fast. Now, as an ocean state, and services sector has to our services sector has to position itself for outward and investment and inward investment with ongoing restructuring of IT for a greater future. And without proper network, we lose our competitiveness edge, our competitive edge, and this is what we don't want to happen. We have to make sure that we constantly capture new market. The preferred market for investment today is Africa, and there was a study which was conducted, and the preferred market for investment today is Africa, with 57% of respondents. It's a Go Africa policy if we want to turn Mauritius into a proper hub. And Africa is a vast roaring continent with almost 1 billion people, and together with India have the highest percentage of young population. And opportunities are knocking since the Continental Free Trade Agreement was signed, and there's no looking back, and we have to put our best endeavors to be an inclusive, knowledge-based IT society. It is the springboard to level up. But time is of an essence, and policy orientation is vital. The Minister said that we have to walk the talk. But not only have we to walk the talk, but we have to think big and walk the talk, but dividends to be reaped will rest on decisiveness and political will. Thus, the regime has the right mindset. We cannot forever stay in the crawler lane. And if we want to emulate, as the Minister has stated, the success of Lithuania, Estonia, Singapore, let us first of all catch up with Rwanda and Kenya. This is a sector where we have to constantly level up. We have to prepare for the best and hope for the best. And we have to bring down constantly the cost of internet, its people's power, and agree that the chip today is the powerhouse of IT sector, but beyond our control. Taiwan produces 60% of the world chips and 90% of the advanced chips. So without access to Taiwanese chip, huge swathe of global industry and digital economy would grind to a halt. America and China are dependent on them. But against this backdrop, Mr. Speaker, we need to size up. And the Minister has to report progress to the House, pull the drawer and remove the reports which have collected dust. If Minister compute the cost of all reports, it would be exorbitant and alarming. The Minister stated that we need to level up, and I totally agree. The cyber caravan has brought joy to the young and the mature by leveling the ground on e-learning. But the changing scenario reminds us it's a race against time. Today, digital entrepreneurship reaches global audience, and with the right marketing strategy, the world is our oyster. But beware of influencers who promote defective products and financial scams. They should not be given a legal status, and like France, government should contemplate introducing groundbreaking legislation to regulate influencers who sell fake products. Mr. Speaker, the House may recall a Labour government set up, as the Minister said, the Ministry of IT as far back. No, that he has not said that. as far back as 1997. And policies were formulated and reformulated based on 5-year plan. The Smart Mauritius Strategy to 2010-2014 was subject of wide discussion. The strategic plan is the mirror image of the roadmap with an overview of national broadband policy 2012-2020 and e-government policy 2013-2017. All these strategic papers were prepared by the then Labour government, but policy implementation since 2015, unfortunately, has been sluggish. And in budget of financial year 2020-2021, a holistic approach towards institutional review of all institutions was proposed, i.e. National Computer Board, ICTA, CIB, CISD, ITSU, Government Online Center. But where is the review, Minister? It is not even in the cloud. The setting up of a Mauritius Digital Transformation Agency, akin to the Singaporean model, was proposed in the institutional review. The process cannot be moved if ownership is not people's ownership. The bill moved by the minister is indeed a different kettle of fish, and I totally agree that there's room for improvement. But changes have to be fundamental changes which would propel us to better cloud. Minister didn't talk of Global Network Resilience Index. We are laggard. Mauritius ranked 72nd out of the 131 economies included in the Network Resilience Index. The greatest scope for improvement, meanwhile, concerns people. This implies that much effort has to be done for skill development on the sector, calling for collaboration with institutions such as the University of Mauritius and with the Ministry of Education. The weaknesses of Mauritius, as per the National Network Resilience Index report, include participation of industry in research and development, as well as high-tech and medium-tech manufacturing. The gaps to create strong synergy among these institutions, the free institutions falling under the purview of the ministry, have to be filled. MRIC, the Mauritius Emerging Technologies Council, and the new agency cannot remain poles apart. The free bodies address research and development, entrepreneurship, creation of research repository, and addressing needs of the industry. There should be no overlapping, no duplication, with clear deliverables for a judicious outcome. Set up the overarching committee to monitor the digital age has been identified by a number of international instances, and an innovation wave that can improve productivity and change lives for the better. The new bill does not prepare for the new wave of development, the AI and the advanced artificial intelligence. This can only be achieved by proper governance structure, proper coordination, and having the right people at the right place. The key word is meritocracy with strong leadership. Have there been wide discussion? Yes, Minister confirmed that there has been wide discussions with all the stakeholders. There's no deep-seated concern, which was flagged by computer and software engineers. They've been reassured, and I'm glad that their fear has been allayed. But nothing has been mentioned in relation to the Government Online Center. The two main functions of the NCB has been stripped off of the CERT MU related to the cybersecurity and the Government Online Center, which is the data center of government, dumped in a corner with hardly any prospect of the staff taking the rung of the ladder. Now, if the officers of the CERT MU has been reassured, fair enough, but the need to obtain assurances, and these assurances have to be made double sure. Now, I refer to Section 5F, Certification Authority. This has been set up since more than 2 years, Minister. But from information that has been relayed, it has not been a success. I don't want to say this is a flop. 50 million rupees wasted and only some digital certificate issued. Now, they want to throw this new potato to the new organization. I hope corrective measures will be taken, lessons drawn and learned, and I'm sure then this authority will be able to deliver. Now, the bill gives additional power to the minister to hire consultants and other staff. It runs, I hope that it would not run against the principle of governance and accountability. But at the same time, I expect the minister to have a culture of restraint, and I'm sure he has, as far as I know, and I hope that, the additional power conferred upon him would not be a passport to hire and fire. Despite wide powers vested upon the minister in section or clause 16, I hope that he will be his own master and not pay lip service to Prime Minister's office. Section 16 may be a lethal cocktail of shall laced with may. Transparency, I hope, will not be under siege, and the good habits will prevail. Mr. Speaker, let me refer to the authority system, or the authentication system. And it's good that we be inspired by the mavericks, the software engineers of Mother India. There's a mesmerizing article on the untold story of Stark India. The number of bright software engineers with lucrative jobs opposed the entrepreneurial ventures to respond to the call of Infosys co-founder in 2009 to build an online authentication system. And 6 months later, the team delivered the first Aadhaar card. By 2012, despite all kinds of legal, political, and logistic challenges, more than 400 million citizens had been enrolled on the platform. If Minister wants to use this as an example and to enlist services of those professionals from India, by all means do so. But make sure that the right signals are sent or conveyed, because what we need is a synergistic approach. And this synergistic approach is relevant to creating the enabling environment, because constantly have to level up. And we have to take the rung of the ladder constantly and strive and struggle to reach the top. Mr. Speaker, when we talk of the Indian citizen above the age of 18 who has the Aadhaar card, we are talking of roughly 1.2 billion people in all, covering 99% of the population. Expectation indeed, let me conclude by saying that expectation indeed are high in Mauritius, but these stumbling blocks have to be overcome. And in an article which appeared in the UK Times, William Hague, former UK Foreign Secretary, reminded readers that the world must wake up to the speed, scale, and scope of artificial intelligence and advanced AI. As an ocean economy, there are vast resources to be tapped from the seabed. The Earth is being depleted of those rare elements essential for constant breakthrough in smart technology. Rare elements are needed for advanced semiconductors necessary for cutting-edge AI. Our yardstick cannot remain back office, that is our BPO. Let us rearrange the furniture, move to the front office with new skills and upskill workforce. Bring in the smart boys and girls from Mother India, stated, Eastern Europe and Israel. And I believe in brain gain. First, let us give additional incentive to attract our nationals working overseas, willing to share the competence and know-how. Let me end up by referring to Section 7, composition of the board. Minister has given reassurance that it is not going to be government-centric, although when we look at the number of officers to be appointed by Minister, of course, government, there is a relatively high number of government officials, but I hope that they will not pay lip service to the minister, that there will be good synergistic action and reaction, because at the end of the day, we have to deliver. Minister means well, and I hope that's not going to be a one-way traffic. Good governance is relevant, and it's not going to be a false dawn. I expect that among the 5 members I've said, that there will be one specialist in data protection and security. I pray that the board is not the lapdog of the regime, and I hope that it will be above board. I wish the agency well, and I hope it will deliver on promises made. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Allow me to unconventionally start by, I will congratulate my honourable colleague later, but I will start a bit unconventionally, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, by going over a few words from the World Economic Forum, which was published quite recently, that goes on saying that globally, men are 21% more likely to have access to internet than women. In the world's least developed countries, this likelihood rises to 52%. Women facing intersectional discrimination living in communities with lower socio-economic status have even lower access to connectivity or any digital device. And this leads to a string of tremendous consequences, even sometimes vital ones. Why am I referring to this, Mr. Speaker, sir? Because this happens to be the very tragic story of a young 19-year-old bright scholar of the New Delhi University LSR College who couldn't afford to buy a laptop and came under tremendous stress during the pandemic as she could not attend her online classes. Eventually, Mr. Speaker, sir, she took her own life in November 2020, just before the exams. The reason I have chosen to start my intervention with this article from the World Economic Forum, Mr. Speaker, sir, is precisely to bring the focus on the opportune timing of this incredibly important piece of legislation, and I here congratulate my honourable colleague, Dasanand Gobind, the Minister of Technology, Communication and Innovation, for his very eloquent introduction of the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency Bill to this House. And no doubt the population agrees that each time a piece of legislation is brought to the House under the leadership of the Honourable Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is brought for the betterment of our people, for our country. I have listened to the honourable member who spoke before me, Honourable Boulel, who said that the bill might not be perfect. It is not perfect, but it sets the scene. Of course, it is perfectible. It sets the scene for this historical shift in paradigm that we're witnessing of our economies, which is shifting from the physical into the digital space, Mr. Speaker, sir. And on a parallel note, I must say that it is extremely refreshing to see the honourable member of the opposition who spoke before me, to see him physically present in the House. And instead of outside the precinct of the House, looks like you've shared the secret with your colleagues from the opposition, by the way. And no, it's good to see you here, attempting tant bien que mal to live up to the duties that you're paid for. I mean, let's be honest. Not many of us in this House can boast about bagging up 2 million rupees for 2 minutes presence in the House. You see? Yes or no? It's very nice to hear you. You start off by welcoming this bill, Honourable Boulel, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I thank him for his plea in favour of this important bill. Anyway, coming back to the bill in question, Mr. Speaker, sir, its main goal, as said by the mover of the bill, is to replace the 35-year-old National Computer Board Act with a comprehensive, with a perfectible piece of legislation which is here to boost the ICT industry and which is very much in line with government's digital strategy, which I heard Honourable Boulel say they have spent the 5 years devising this strategy. Here we are catching up with lost time. with the implementation of what you were supposedly devising. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is very much agreed that we need to have a better adapted legal and policy framework. This is much warranted in order to address these new situations. 35 years, Mr. Speaker, sir, later, we need to be bringing these changes, and after, again, listening to the member of the opposition who spoke before me, it begs the question. Yes, he purported that they had been devising a strategy, but what about the implementation? So this is it, this is the time, this is the proper timing where, following the bill that was successfully brought by the same honourable colleague concerning cybercrime and cybersecurity, this is a natural course of action to the previous bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, to gently remind Honourable Bolel, who quoted Rwanda and Kenya in his intervention, Mauritius happens to be hailed as being a leader in Africa in the information and communication technology sector. Mauritius, for his information and for those who might not be aware, ranked first in Africa in the Global Innovation Index of 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, this doesn't happen neither by luck nor by chance. It is made possible through strategy adopted by government. It is a result of consistent strategy of our government to precisely boost up this sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, the strategy that we are talking about has been developed in October 2018. It incorporates short, medium, long-term goals based on 5 key themes, which is infrastructure, broadcasting, e-government, business facilitation, talent management, cybersecurity, innovation, and emerging technologies. Mauritius has been engaged in setting the pace in adopting these emerging technologies, and the globe, as we can see, is experiencing this change, this very distinct change in how all of us communicate, how we do business, how we engage in commerce, and the use of electronic transaction, as earlier on very aptly, eloquently elaborated by the mover of the bill. The use of these electronic transactions is replacing the traditional methods in increasing numbers. Mr. Speaker, sir, even if it has taken more than 35 years to revamp the National Computer Board, somewhere we cannot really put the blame on the previous or the ancient regimes, taking into consideration the very gently, very kindly, the prehistoric members of the opposition. Maybe they never understood the importance of embracing a digital world and to bring the changes that are required so that we can keep up with this galloping pace of le monde numérique, comme on l'appelle. Mr. Speaker, sir, we will recall that the global COVID-19 pandemic outbreak has forced almost every aspect of our life to shift to online modalities, and in response, we have had to come up with new legal guidelines, new strategies, new best practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill is a response to those difficulties posed by globalization and the hazards it brings to the economy. The government's goal is to make the ICT industry a significant economic component, the very economic pillar which some will remember at its very conception was coined as a white elephant. And time, Mr. Speaker, sir, has proven these doomsday prophets, time has proven them completely wrong. Mr. Speaker, sir, the services provided by this government have been modernized in so many different ways. One clear example being our court systems, which benefited from this digitalization. The commercial court was the first to implement the e-judiciary. Our courts have used digitalization during the time of lockdown in an effort to maintain business continuity. I speak as the Minister in charge of child protection and women protection as well, whereby we delivered our protection orders for children and victims of domestic abuse during the lockdown period using digital platforms. Mr. Speaker, sir, again, I wish to remind the House and the population that it is my colleague who introduced the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act of 2021 to deal with related offences. So, once again, the timing of this current bill is opportune, Mr. Speaker, sir. Having promoted secured access and a conducive environment with the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act of 2021, the present bill being debated today will establish the Mauritius Digital Promotion Agency, which will have, amongst others, the primary responsibility of fostering innovation and skill development. Mr. Speaker, sir, I will lay a bit more emphasis on empowering the grassroots level through digital literacy. Some of the functions of the agency, among so many others, are to prepare, and not just to prepare, also to deliver the national upskilling program in ICT, Mr. Speaker, sir. And to achieve this, my ministry fully undertakes to work in close collaboration with the Ministry of IT so that we can reach the grassroots level and enhance our sensitization through the use of our community centers, our social welfare centers, our women empowerment centers. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is very important that we address the national upskilling program in ICT from this gender perspective. And here I recall the very justified theme retained by the United Nations for this year's International Women's Day. The theme was Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Mr. Speaker, sir, the setting up of the agency, through that our women and our girls will be leading the way for the development of transformational technologies, digital education, and at the same time, we will be educating our population on the significance of protecting the rights of our children, our women, and our girls within online environments, and as well as learning how to deal with gender-based violence. Mr. Speaker, sir, while we have the need to equip our children with the requisite ICT skills to enhance their everyday life, to change the way that they work, we should also bear in mind that to raise awareness about the real dangers of the digital sphere. It is undeniable, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, sir, that so many people fall victim due to their lack of knowledge of the dangers I am speaking about. There are some malicious minds out there ready and lurking to exploit and violate the right of our women. In fact, how many times have we not witnessed videos, intimate pictures, fake news, unfiltered comments, body shaming, ad hominem attacks being circulated by some, and on this side of the House, in this very House, on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, the ladies on this side of the House will testify having been subject to such vile attacks and ill practices themselves, including myself. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill is not a bill that anybody should look at as a medium to gain political mileage or brownie points. This bill has as objects the intention to greatly contribute to narrow the digital divide which is a very real aspect that should not be overlooked or diluted. This government, when it comes to our women, look at a return on investment as return on impact, because when we talk about upskilling and skilling our women folk, this has ripple effects that extend way beyond the monetary, the pecuniary, the economic aspect. They stretch across communities. As women, we pay it forward in so many different ways, be it mentoring others, educating children, driving businesses. So this return on investment is rather a return on impact, and this is what leads this government to bring such bills to the House. In order to bridge the foreseeable inequalities that will occur, no doubt, if we do not empower our citizens with the requisite skills, and For this to happen, I'm going to be inviting my colleagues from the other side of the House and the population at large to look at this bill through the gender lens that I'm referring to, so that when you're analyzing the contents of this bill, it will give you the opportunity through this gender lens to see that this bill comes with enormous potential to bolster our women, our young minds, and eventually drive our nation forward. Mr. Speaker, sir, to conclude, allow me to reiterate that this government will never embark on a process that is to the detriment of its citizens. And I hope that through my intervention, I have managed to allay some of the fears of Honorable Boulel, who spoke before me. This is not our philosophy. I have said that over and over again in this House. This is not this government's way of doing things. This government has always been guided by one single philosophy, one core principle, and this sentence remains of seminal importance, Mr. Speaker, sir. We work for the well-being of our citizens, for the progress of one and all. This has been demonstrated time and again by this government through the Prime Minister, through the number of legislations that we have brought, new ones, repealed ones, amended ones, to this House that have been brought by the Prime Minister and his colleagues on this side of the House. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, is why I personally commend the very laudable initiative of my colleague, the Honourable Minister of Technology, Communication and Innovation, and I unhesitatingly put on record my unwavering support for this essential and very much needed piece of legislation. Long live the Republic of Mauritius, and I thank you very much for your attention.
Lord Danu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move for adjournment of the debate.
Seconded? The question is that the debate be now adjourned. Don't Professor Ade get to know? Answer it.
Mr. Speaker, may I move for adjournment of the Assembly to Tuesday next, that is Tuesday 25th April at 11:30 a.m.
The House stands adjourned.